Hi, this is Miss Briscoe, and I'm going to talk you through the Geometry Academic Syllabus. So I'm in room B105. Here's my email. My phone extension is 2630, and my conference period is 4th. So our grading category in academic are tests are 60%. Tests are major grades, but pretty much just tests. Quizzes are 25%, and homework or classwork, any sort of daily grade, is 15% with no late work accepted. So this 15% right here is huge. It's meant to be a cushion for your grade. It's meant to be, if you do your work and you try your best, that's 15% of your grade that should be locked in. So there is no excuse for this portion of your grade to be taken lightly. So it's meant to be a cushion. We just grade homework for completion. So you don't even have to get it right. You just have to try your very best. So this is huge. What a gift this is if you take advantage of it. Tutorials are so important in academic. So I'm going to post a schedule on my whiteboard, but pretty much I'm always available in the mornings. Sometimes I have meetings, or sometimes we have a test or a quiz for another class that I teach, and it just kind of makes it chaotic. So just check the calendar on the whiteboard, and it'll be on It's Learning. And I'll also have tutorials after school, sort of by appointment. So just communicate with me if and when you need tutorials, but also check the schedule. Supplies. So we are going to be watching some videos and doing things like that in geometry this year. So you need to bring headphones. So bring a pair of headphones every single day. Bring your own device. If you have a smartphone or iPad or laptop, that'd be great. If you don't have access to that, that's okay. We have a class set of Chromebooks, but we only have 8. So we need the rest of the class to bring their own device. So if you have one, please bring it. A notebook, so it can be a spiral notebook, it can be a composition notebook, your choice. Pencils, an eraser, colored grading pens, glue stick, and scissors. Then if you would bring one of the following, so you don't need to bring all 3. Either bring me a box of tissues or roller paper towels or expo markers. That would be such a blessing to me, especially when it's cold and flu season and allergies are acting up. We go through tissues like it's nobody's business, and we use whiteboard slates sometimes, so expo markers are great. And then I spill things, so I love my paper towels. And then you do not have to purchase a calculator, but I do recommend it. I bought a calculator, a TI graphing calculator, in 7th grade and used it all the way through college, and I would still be using it to this day, except I dropped it and I shattered the screen. So they're a great investment, but we have a class set of calculators that students will be using during tests and quizzes, and they can use it during class time. But the problem arises when you're at home and you're trying to work on your homework and you don't have a graphing calculator. Either you need to have access to one that you've purchased yourself, or there's some online resources available. We're going to be using a lot of online resources, including It's Learning, Formative, and the online textbook. Links to all of that are on my It's Learning page, and as the year progresses, we're all going to get more and more comfortable with It's Learning, and so that's going to be the main source for online resources. Next thing we're going to talk about is what to do if you're absent. So if you're absent, you missed something important. We probably learned a lesson or took a test or a quiz. So email me, check, I should say, I'm gonna go ahead and edit this. Check, not the website, It's Learning. Make sure you get the notes and assignments that you missed. Come to tutorials. It is on you. When you're absent, you need to advocate for yourself and come communicate with me and see what you missed. Get caught up. You'll have the number of days of the absence to complete the missed assignments. So if you're absent 1 day, you have 1 extra day. If you missed 2 days, you have 2 extra days. This gets a little bit more complicated around tests and quizzes. Let's say you missed the review day. If you missed the review day before a test or a quiz, you are still taking the test or the quiz on the originally scheduled date. So if you just missed the review day, there's no new instruction being delivered. All the resources, all the review, the answer key, everything is posted on It's Learning, so there's no excuse that you can't prepare. So if there's a special situation, please talk to me. Shoot me an email. Be proactive. Shoot me an email. That's going to be kind of a big theme in this, is email me. If you are not sure, or if you're, have something's a little out of the ordinary, email me. So if you miss the review day, you will be expected to take the test or quiz on the original date. If you miss just the day of the test or quiz, you're going to take the test the next morning, or in class. Or if you're proactive and you schedule a time during a lunch or a study hall or something like that, then that works too. But if you don't show up in the morning, or if you haven't made a plan with me, you will be taking the test during the class period. And we want to avoid that as much as possible because you're missing instruction, you're missing new material, we're moving forward. But it's not fair to give you extra time to study just because you're absent. So we need you to take the test the next day. So either come in the morning, shoot me an email, schedule a new time, or you're taking it during class. If more than 2 days are missed, then you must make arrangements with me to figure out when we're going to get the test taken care of. So again, communicate. Hence, this communication policy concerning grades or dates or academic issues, students are expected to self-advocate. We want to create students who are comfortable and confident communicating with professors in the future, with their boss and their future job. We want them to be comfortable approaching adults and advocating for themselves. So if kids have questions about stuff, they can probably get it figured out just by coming to ask the teacher. We don't need to rely on our parents to get those questions answered. In other words, a student should make contact with his or her teacher in person or via email. So come up and have a casual conversation or shoot me an email, either way, to get your questions answered. But parents, if there's a bigger issue or if there's something your student's not comfortable talking about or whatever family issue, please feel free to contact me. But most of the smaller issues can totally be resolved between the teacher and the student. And we just want to equip our kids with the skills to communicate for themselves. Retest. Oh, whoops. Scrolled too far. The retest. Oh, mercy. Okay, here we go. Retest. If you fail a test, and not a quiz, test. Retesting is only for tests. Major grades, tests. You are eligible to take a retest, but only if you scored below a 70. So if you got a 75, you are not eligible for a retest. If you got a 70, you are not eligible for a retest. Students should come to tutorials before they take their retest so they can go over the old test to rework it, figure out what mistakes they made, correct it so that they don't repeat the same mistakes again on the retest. And the highest grade you can receive on a retake is a 70. So if you make a 60 on the original test, you come and take a retest and you crush it, you make a 90 on the retest, the highest you can get is the 70. So even if you get above a 70, the highest you can get is a 70. And we only take the grade that helps you the most. So if you do worse on the retest or you stay the same, it can't hurt you. So it's always worth it to take a retest. It can really save your grade and help pull you out of a pit of a big failing grade. Homework. Homework is checked for completion, not for accuracy. Homework is only checked for completion. So try your best. If you try every problem, you're going to get 100. And like we said earlier, that's 15% of your grade. That's a huge cushion. You need to show all of your work on paper. So if you used a calculator, whatever you typed into your calculator, you should write down onto paper in your notebook. A list of answers is never acceptable. No work, no credit. Copying down the problem is not the same as doing the problem. If it's a vocabulary type question or just what is this thing, obviously use your best judgment about when it's appropriate to show work and when it's not. But if you're having to do any sort of calculation or computation, you need to show your work. So we're going to use this online program. It's not really software. Online program called Formative. A lot of the times for homework. So it's really cool. You type your answers in and it gives you instantaneous feedback as to whether or not you did your homework correctly. So you don't have to sit at home and wonder I think I did my homework right. I think I did this problem correctly. You can type it into Formative and know exactly whether or not you got it right. Not every assignment will be on Formative, but I can check Formative and see that you've submitted all your answers. So sometimes I might go and look in that and just gather or create a homework grade based off of did you go into Formative and submit your answers? Or I might ask to see your physical homework. I want to see the work that you did. So you need to be prepared with both. Just because it's a formative assessment doesn't mean that I'm not ever going to check your actual written homework. So you need to keep up with both submitting it through formative, and writing on paper. No late homework is accepted. If I'm checking physical homework that day, you need to have your physical homework in class with you, and it's due at the time of your class. So you can't bring it later, can't have mom take a picture and email it to you, etc., etc., etc. It needs to be physically with you at the time of your class period. But again, if we're doing formative, you're going to submit it through formative, but you should still bring your physical homework to class. Okay, when we have a test or quiz, we don't want kids to chat about what type of material is on the test or quiz. It's not fair to the kids that have to take the test first period. If word gets out like, oh, make sure you know this, blah, blah, blah is on the test, and then kids later in the day have an advantage that the kids in first period did not have. So one of the ways that we're going to help eliminate some of this unfairness that can happen is teachers are not going to answer questions once the test has been given, aka first period. So kids chat, they figure out what type of questions on the test, and they come and ask the teacher, hey, can you help me with this problem? And you're like, oh, how did you know to ask about that problem? That's suspicious. So teachers are not going to answer any more questions once the test has been given, or talk about anything concerning the assessment, and that includes if you go ask another math teacher or you just want to ask one question. Have integrity when talking with your friends. It's not an advantage to you to talk about a test after you've taken it. You're just giving other people information that you didn't have access to yourself. So don't share test or quiz questions. Don't share what material is on the test or not on the test, common themes, etc. Basically, big idea is don't talk about the test if everyone hasn't taken it yet. So once I pass it back, then you can talk about it. And then I really like this quote, success is sometimes the outcome of a whole string of failures. Math is hard, and you're going to have to try and fail and try and bounce back. But the more you practice and the more of a shot you give it, the more likely you are to become successful. So don't be discouraged. I'm here. I want you to be successful. So come ask me for help when you need it. And then just some general student behavior expectations. Respect your classmates, Ms. Briscoe, the classroom, and our shared resources, so things like the calculators or the class of the glue sticks. Have integrity, give your best effort, and come prepared.